My name is Jeff Bernards. I'm the project executive for the Wilshire La Brea project. The Wilshire La Brea project is a landmark project sitting at one of the most recognizable locations in the city of Los Angeles, on Wilshire on the corner of La Brea. It is an entire city block made up of 478 new residential units, 40,000 square feet of retail, and over 8 acres of subterranean parking. The project was a resounding success, not only for Bernards, but for the ownership and the entire team of stakeholders.
The success of this project was basically contributed to teamwork, 100% teamwork. We had cooperation from the architect, the contractor, the subcontractors, the owner. There was an understanding of what people's roles and responsibilities were, and everybody wanted to put their best foot forward, and it came down to teamwork.
Not only is the Wilshire La Brea a major improvement to the neighborhood, providing new homes, new retail facilities, but what the project represents is a huge model of success for how a construction project should be delivered.
So throughout construction, I always called this project a textbook project. And what I meant by that was the coordination, cooperation, and the teamwork aspect of all the individuals. The project was first, their own personal opinions were second. You know, there were no individual agendas. The agenda was what's best for the project. And it set the right tone from the beginning. You know, the physical side of construction is only half of it's what you see. What you don't see is behind the scenes coordination, the paperwork, the RFIs, the submittal process, checking and verifying that what the architect drew meets code. You know, there's a lot that goes into a building that you never see. And that's what makes a project successful.
Bernards was brought into the project more than 2 years before we actually broke ground. So we had the luxury of that time to integrate with the design team, work very closely with the developer, our client, to make sure that the building was programmed properly, that the construction procedures were well thought out, very well pre-planned. And the result of that upfront investment was really what we'll call a textbook construction delivery process, which resulted in the project being completed on time, under budget, and with a client who was able to increase their lease up of a facility much faster with a higher velocity than originally expected. So from an overall standpoint, a resounding success in the project itself.
The key to our management success for this large project, given that we had so many moving parts on a daily basis, it really involved a great teamwork environment. And we communicated, not even on a daily basis, but we communicated at night and early in the morning. Throughout the whole entire day, it's what we had to do to get the job done.
The biggest success on the project, I'd say, is our schedule. We encountered a lot of change scope and issues, design issues, dirty soil, and we're still able to bring the project in on schedule. You look up and down the block, there's many of these apartment complexes going. I think we started at the same time as many of these buildings, half our size, and opened probably 5 months ahead of them.
Throughout the project, we deployed some new emerging technologies that are now available in our industry that really pay dividends. Our 3D modeling team, or in other words our BIM, Building Information Modeling Group, spent many months modeling out the various unit types in the building, of which there's more than 36 unit types. In doing that, we were able to create a virtual model of how every unit would look in its completion. That process allowed us to not only coordinate the details of the parts and pieces that aren't seen to increase the efficiency of the construction process, but allowed our client to visualize what they actually were getting at the end of the day, and allowed them to see months in advance what it was going to look like. So they had a chance to make some changes, make some enhancements along the way, so they ended up with a better product that only had to be constructed one time.
BIM was used on this project to coordinate all the MEPs, mechanical, electrical, and plumbing systems in the garage. There's 3 levels of garage, so we used it all the way up there, coordinate the bottom side of the podium. And then in the units, what we were able to do was, out of the 478, we found 33 typical unit types and BIM'd those typical units to flush out the issues there. It was extremely beneficial to us. It solved a lot of problems months before we ever got to them in the field. We were able to order the materials that we needed to resolve those issues and reroute things, RFI them, and get the owner's input and the architect's input to resolve these issues to everybody's satisfaction while still maintaining our schedule.
We've gotten a lot of positive feedback from neighbors, just the sheer size of the building, be able to get it done as fast as we've been able to done, working with the neighbors to try and make their lives as good as it can be with a loud construction site next to it. We've really gone out of our way to try and make them happy. Everybody's happy with the way the building's looked and the architectural features that it has.
This building is the first of many going in on the Miracle Mile to basically update this area and modernize this area. The Purple Line extension is going to be coming under Wilshire. There's actually going to be a station across the street where the current Bank of America is, and so this is a big redevelopment area. The design tried to take that into consideration with still respecting the local neighborhood. So one of the big features down Sycamore is they reduced the building in height and built those out as townhomes with siding and made them broken up so that it didn't appear to the local neighborhood to be such a massive building in the middle of the neighborhood.
BRE and their design team came up with some really fantastic and eye-popping finishes throughout the public amenity spaces and the leasing areas. The main courtyard areas have swimming pools with very mature trees, some very upgraded furnishings, facilities for barbecuing and clubhouses for gatherings and parties. The building will really provide for the residents to have not only a place to live, but a place to enjoy a nice lifestyle as well. Not only is the Wilshire La Brea project a landmark for the neighborhood and the area, but it's really a landmark project for our company. It represents one of the largest multifamily projects that we've constructed to date and really exemplifies the spirit of collaboration that we seek to have with those we work for and with. From the inception of the project, from our initial involvement, the team approach that we brought to our client and vice versa really exemplified what we strive to deliver, and that's the better experience in the construction of our projects and the services that we provide. Driving up on Wilshire La Brea really gives you a sense of wow. I would get to the project coming southbound on La Brea, and the design team has a really eye-catching forced perspective as you're coming down La Brea. So the building actually looks like it has a curve and then extends way off into the distance, and it's just a real grand sense of scale when you're driving up onto the project. Working day to day with TCA, Thomas Cox Architects, was also a very rewarding experience. The collaboration between our two firms really led to egos being set aside, shirt sleeves being rolled up, and the energies being focused on the issues and solutions. And that really contributed to a rewarding experience for all of us. Wilshire La Brea will always mark a major achievement in the history of our company, and I think it'll be used as a model of a successful project in the years and decades ahead.